Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome. It's once again another edition of the Business X-Ray. And this Sunday, we're looking at a very powerful, riveting story indeed of an entrepreneur who began small, really a story of humble beginnings, and has today really developed some very, very good tendrils in a locality where, of course, most of us would think, we tend to think that the good things are in Kampala or in some of these big urban areas. But the story of our entrepreneur today really disapproves or disproves that kind of assertion and belief. So it's again the Business X-Ray show, and we are here with Enterprise Uganda, our partners, and Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to really bring you experiences of entrepreneurs that have made it, of course doing ordinary things that you can do, but of course respecting clear cut principles to get to where they are. As usual, in the studio, I have Charles from Enterprise Uganda. Charles, you're most welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and I greet all the viewers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And our guest today is Simon Peter. Simon Peter, just a brief introduction of you, and we're going to it.
Thanks to the viewers and NTV. I'm called Simon Peter. I come from Teso.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's Simon. Now, we'll hold it there. We have a montage, which I'm going to ask my producer to play for us, of Simon Peter, just to get a feel of who Simon Peter is. And again, just as a matter of emphasis, we want to take you to where these entrepreneurs are. We want you to be part of the entrepreneurs that we bring you, their stories, so that you get, that real feel of where, they make the money from. And by the time we now come into the discussion, you know what we're talking about. So I'm going to ask my producer to just play for us that video montage so we get to know who Simon Peter is now from the business side of things in a moment.
I'm called Simon Peter. I do farming as a business. I started in 2013. It was after A-level. So I came back home, I had nothing to do, so I resorted to farming. I used to do farming just for home consumption, but later on, when I had an announcement on the radio that there are some people who were offering a training in a sorority demonstration school there, and it was Enterprise Uganda. So I got interested and I went for that training. So after that training, I was actually inspired that, kumbe I've been wasting a lot of opportunities. So that day when I came back after that training, I could not even sleep, because that's the time when I recognized that I had wasted a lot of time. Because I could just do something small just for survival. Then I said that let me take this one as opportunity. So I learned so many things from that training, like savings, like marketing. We have a number of resources that are not utilized. So I realized that there is opportunity here. So I started the business of raising seedlings as a business. So I started raising seedlings that I could sell to the farmers, and as well as I started even marketing beyond. I could get opportunity to supply some NGOs for a start, then even some local farmers within. But later on, as you know, after that training, I started marketing those seedlings, and I opened even a company. So when I opened that company, I could supply seedlings to government direct, that is under NADS, then even the Ministry of Agriculture, and even some national NGOs. So I supply seedlings from 2015. That's when I got a national contract with the NADS. So I utilized that opportunity because I could get supplies of maybe 200,000, 300,000 seedlings that company now. Actually, before even having that training, I used to get some money, but I could just use it. But after that training with the enterprise, Uganda, I believe in a period of around 6 months, I had saved around 14 million.
Yeah.
So I have like these mango trees around 200. That's what I've planted. However much they are still young, they are around almost making 3 years. But at least I get something like 30 million from these trees every season. Actually, I'm supplying cassava cuttings to government, but I also have some gardens of cassava. I've planted like 10 acres, but the rest I buy from other farmers. And this season I've supplied around 3,000 bags of cassava, both to NGOs and government. Citrus I have around 500 trees. Yeah, but you see, they are still fruiting. Actually, like last season we didn't have market, but I think I got around 80 million out of this oranges. One of the achievements that I have, I managed to buy this land, around 20 acres in this place. Then I was able to build even these houses through this business. I managed to buy even plots in town that I developed, and some people are renting. Then not only that, even this place I've managed to dig a production well, just because I want to increase the production level for seedlings and even fruits. Then I also managed to open up some businesses, like I have a retail shop. I have a store for produce. Actually, that's another business that I'm doing now. Then even, at first, I didn't have even a means of transport. So nowadays, I can also drive. I managed to help some young men and women. Some of them are also involved in this business. And not only here, even the community. Because I used to employ more than 100 casual workers. But even as we talk now, I have like six permanent workers.
I'm known by the names Uchen Peter. We have been doing together with that man. That man picks me from down. The first thing, that man bought me also a motorcycle and opened for me some businesses and put for me also some work. I'm also supplying some things.
I'm called, my name is Ejok Solomon. I was down, but that man helped me with so many things. With what? With his work. So he helped me to marry a wife, to buy land. I'm supplying with him. I supply cassava cuttings.
Actually, there are a number of challenges with any business. We always face drought. Actually, during dry season, we lose most of the seedlings. And most especially when you don't have enough water to water those seedlings. Then sometimes also, like nowadays, the amount of seedlings that we supply to government, it has reduced, not like those days when we used to get thousands. So it is also another challenge. Then there is even competition, because I'm not the only person who is producing those seedlings. I'm also looking out to mitigate. I'm planning to fence this area, then even install cameras such that I can monitor my business even when I'm not around. Then the other thing also, we talked of drought. That's why you see we're also trying to install the irrigation system such that we produce throughout the season. Actually, I intend to expand this business, most especially in activities like tree planting, then fish farming, then fruit growing. As you see, I have some here, but I need to expand.
Well, viewers, beautiful, I'm sure you now have an idea of what Simon Peter does. Charles, quite an inspiring story there. I mean, if you look at, what Simon Peter is engaged into, and I think it's tying in, for starters, with what is happening, what government is trying to promote at this particular moment. I don't know what your quick thoughts are before we bring Simon to put flesh to that.
I think one thing that one can read immediately from that is that one, there is nobody who is almost by nature or by destiny crafted to become poor. It's up to you to change how you want your life to end.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you can see from here, there is a way government is crafting the parish development model. It's saying, we won't touch those who are excluded. There are people in the villages, in the parishes, fine. But there are those households who have not got anything to sell in the marketplace from January to December. They just cultivate something, eat and survive. A story of Simon Peter is a story of what you might call a template to follow or to understudy, to see how to make his story become replicable. Because having come from the background that he's talking about, he couldn't go very far in his school. Today you can see what he's doing. He started with what he could manage. Today he's building, he's having apartments. Today he's a man who can talk to almost anybody within the business arena where he's working. NGOs are dealing with him. And NGOs have got strict criteria for anybody to be a supplier. You can't go to them and say, you know, yesterday I didn't feed my child, kindly buy my seedlings. They want seedlings that will make a good name for the NGO. Similarly, he has had to register an enterprise. And I thought that was useful. Because many times we want people to just mechanically go and register, go and register. The moment somebody has got a prospect of benefiting from registration, you don't even need to beg them to register.
Right. That's right.
So this is a story, in my view, which is timely for the country and for the leaders to know that whatever we're trying to do with PDM, it has already happened within our own country. We just need to be mindful of extracting those lessons and making sure that those lessons, we send them out to the beneficiaries of PDM.
I hear you. Beautiful. That's well put indeed. Now, Simon, I want to come to you at this moment.
Yes.
Because, of course, we've had your story, you know, how you began. Now, I want to look at you personally. Before you embarked on that journey of business, there was Simon.
Yes.
And I want you to paint for us a picture how, you know, you went through school and what was the experience like growing up and then starting or setting your first steps on your first journey to come into the business world.
Actually, as I told you, my name's I grew up in with a single mom. I don't know what transpired, what happened between him and our father. But life was hard, actually. You know, living with a single mom in one smaller grass-thatched house. You know that. So it is only people who have grown from the village, they know.
Can connect.
Yeah.
The good thing is that majority of Ugandans actually.
Yes. You know, my mom used to do some business in the early 90s, but during that time of insurgency from Tesa. I believe she was in Tororo. Now the first day she came back, some people came and stole the money that she had. She had around 800,000. That was a lot of money that
then.
But it was robbed, actually. I think at around 6 in the evening. Those days I was still young. So that is how we started life. My mom could not go back and do the business that she used to do. So she started gambling from there. Just preparing this local brewers, Ajon. We call it Ajon.
The local brew.
Yeah, the local brew. So that is how she managed. But she used to do that with even in the meantime. One time, whenever she could sell, she would become sick. What? She used to tell us that this work is not easy. I told her that you just leave it. And we were still young, so it was difficult actually. I remember, then I joined secondary. When I joined there, my mom could struggle to look for money. She could wait for me to come and maybe pick some assistance, but she could not say, because I had to struggle. When I'm at school, I have to go maybe on weekends. I have to go and look for some work outside there, maybe building, what.
So casual jobs.
Yes. Until I managed to buy a camera. I started, I was a photographer.
So the cameraman for some...
Yes, at school.
At school.
Just to look for survival.
I hear you.
So now after senior 6, I came back home. We had only 2 cows. And we were around, by the time we were around 4. Because my elder brother, that one failed completely. He stopped in P7. So I could just go and take maybe photos, what I also get something small. So whenever my mom could ask me that, you come for assistance, I just tell her that no, I have something to eat. That is it. So now after senior 6, I came back home. I went and picked, I went to Arapai. I wanted to do
admission to Arapai College.
I wanted to do agriculture as a course in Arapai. I picked the admission.
That was after secondary?
Yes. After even finishing 1 year at home. So I went back, I picked admission, and I could not afford to pay the tuition. I even had 1 semester, but I failed. So I went back home. Sometimes I could get annoyed, but to who?
I hear you.
You have to console yourself.
Yes.
So
You have to put yourself together. Yes.
I said, it's fine, everything will be. Yeah. So now, after that, I was just at home. You know, some people even convinced me that you also go for politics. Yes, I went for. I stood for chairperson, youth league, under the sub-county, and I went through.
Okay.
Yes, an oppose actually. So now after there, that's the time I went for this business of raising seedlings. Actually, I used to go and work under somebody's garden, budding those seedlings. What?
And you understood the way.
I understood how the business was doing. And I just said that let me also start. So I started in 2012 or 13, but I think it was at the beginning. So when I started that business, when I heard that announcement on the radio that Enterprise Uganda is coming to train people, business people, I said, but I was not having even me. I didn't understand that even you can do business as about farming as a business. So I see that, but now I don't have any business. What should I do? Because for me, I had hopes that it is only people who maybe operate shops or those are business people.
Those are the guys who are business.
So now I went for that training. The training, I don't know how to explain even. I could not even sleep.
After that session?
Yes, after that session, the first day. So I learned so many things.
What are you picking from this training that really triggered you?
Number one, farming as a business. Because I used to do farming, but
as a practice or something?
Yes, because I grew up in an environment where people are doing what?
Everyone is farming.
Yes, so I was also doing.
How can everybody be a business person?
Yes,
So that is the thing. Now, I got so many tips from that business over that training, most especially like you know, people used to doubt that you can maybe opening a business needs when you have a high amount of money. So I say that, Kubi, I've been doing a business, but I've been reluctant. Let me go and start this. That's why actually that's what encouraged me, and I got so many skills like marketing, like savings, in that training.
I hear you.
Actually, I think I told Charles today in the morning that all that training, if they give me opportunity to give some people a lecture, I think I have all in the what?
In the
In the brain. Yes, that's what I told him. So it was so interesting. It is only, I think it is only people who are, I believe only people who have that spirit
that can really
yes, that can understand.
Hold it there, Simon. We'll get back to that.
Yes.
Charles, very, very important points there, I can see. Of course, there are many people who do not feel and think that someone can actually make money in farming, especially crop husbandry.
Yeah. So these are the basic things that we need to know about how to transform our community. They are everyday things they have been doing, and they have never treated them as a gateway to riches.
Yes.
Why? He says everybody is doing it. My neighbor is also planting granules. The other also is planting granules. How do I call myself a businessman? And the moment you do not have that mindset of saying, I'm a businessman, I have customers to serve, and I'm into the thing to compete for the market, you are going to remain mediocre. So when we tell people that business starts from and ends in your mindset, history just confirms it. 2, the skills. Where did he get the skills he used to start going into the nursery thing? The
nursery business.
Where he was working, he did not go there just for the sake of money. He went there with an attitude to say, this is how it is done. And when you do it like this, a truck comes and you load the things there, and the truck owner leaves money behind. You can see the basics there. From what he was doing, that was the classroom. But you needed to be interested in that kind of a thing. Otherwise, if you are in there and you are complaining how the owner is not even paying you much and is taking all the money, you miss the fundamentals.
That's right.
And one of those is the skill. He left that place, but he went with the skill.
Yes.
Very, 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 very key indeed. So, and then again, the issue of starting with any amount and starting the way you are. The kind of message we have repeated so much from here. But the man is saying, I could do it now. But also probably to demystify the thing called mindset. This man went to a training that just entered in his body. And as a person, he got inspired. So you did not now need to call this man at 6 a.m. wake up. He woke up ahead. What time were you now waking up from the training? Was after the training?
I think at around 3 in the morning. Very early in the morning.
Because you had already gotten the trigger.
Charles told me that if you want to believe this, you wake up at night at around 3 or 2. That's the time that God can speak to you.
That's a good one.
Yes, that's the time that I could wake up, plan what to do in the morning. So in the morning I just wake up already
set.
Already set. I could not sleep.
Because the message that we normally give people is that the earlier you wake up, the better for you, because it is quiet. There are no noises of borders, what. You start the day at your own plan. So that's the first thing that shows that the mindset has been reorganized. How are you using your time? How are you using your time? Because the adult world is a world where you lead your own program. And the way to show that you are using the program well is, show me how you spent the 24 hours you got yesterday.
That's a good one, Charles. Now, I want to come back to you, Simon, because every day, we see people that can go for certain sessions, then they get out fired up. And I think Charles will attest to this.
Very true.
If you meet them outside that hall where the session is, they're on fire. Now, if you meet them after 5 days,
Yes.
it's a different story. You might think you're looking and interacting with a totally different person.
Yeah.
So it brings in the question of sustaining.
Yeah.
You know, picking that
Yes.
and then working with it.
Yes.
And I'm asking this question for purposes of our viewers.
Yes.
Because I'm sure there are quite a number who could be sitting in that particular category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How have you managed, you know, to sustain that? Because we've seen you're now into an array of businesses.
Yes.
You're in real estate, you mangoes, seedlings.
Yeah.
What is that drive that has kept you going?
Actually, I've seen that one. It's also a very big challenge. But if you're an entrepreneur, they always say that entrepreneurs, they are goal setters. You should be having a goal. Then you should be actually focused. Actually, if you have challenges and you want to get out of those challenges, what do? You work hard. So most of the people, they start business today, tomorrow they have failed. Because some of them, actually some of them, they are not focused and they don't know what they are after. But if you're focused, you cannot fail. As I told you when we started our discussion, that for me, whenever I get money, I don't get excited because I fear to go back there. That is a very big trap.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you're going to speak to that as well at some point. Yes, but I hear you. So the goal is set, and then you stick to that.
Yes.
I hear you. That's beautiful. Now, you mentioned the issue of money, achieving.
Yes.
You know, and Chelsea keeps talking about it. There's this arrivalism of sorts, for lack of a better word.
Yes.
We tend to get comfortable soon.
Yeah.
Especially after ticking a few boxes, you have some money.
Yeah.
You're like, now what?
Yeah.
Like, so how, you know, do you keep now setting new
Yes.
higher targets every year? How do you deal with that? And then how do you deal with the excitement that these little successes bring as we move along?
Actually, for me, the issue of excitement, I've put that one aside first. Because I'm still having a long way. You see, sometimes you can get some little money, then you think you're rich. For me, I always like comparing myself with others. Because when I was in the village, I thought maybe I have some money. When I went to town, you get somebody driving a car of 300 million. Then you think that, hey, I'm nothing. You see, with the issue of the money, like me, I have a business plan. I developed a business plan. After that training, I say that at least in a year, I should be able to produce 100,000 seedlings. Because you see, when I started this business, I started with the 20,000. Now, my first sales was, is it 800,000? No, yes, 800,000.
Okay.
Then I discovered that this is a real source of getting money. The next sales was 1.5. Then I said that, when will I get 10 million? I wish if I could get 10 million.
Yes.
That would be very... So, do you know, instead of getting 10 million, I got 30 million. From there now, I was motivated. I just said that this is the only opportunity.
This thing
Let me
works.
put much of my focus.
Correct.
So, then I continued until it reached millions. Because sometimes I could even sell, I get more than 500 million, one supply. What? So, the issue of excitement, that one, I cannot get excited because I still have a long way
to go.
I still have so many plans to do, and I've not achieved. I've not achieved all. So,
and then there's that point that you touched earlier on, that you moved away from a village where you started,
yes,
and then shifted to a setting where you found networks.
That one, networking. The reason why I left the village was just because in the village there are few people that you can interact with. I just said that let me go to town. There I can be able to network with some other business people. even, you know, being in the village, it is hard to get even information. And you remember, they
You
say
cut
that,
off.
yes, they say that information is power.
It's power, yes.
Because now, if you don't have information,
Yes.
what will inspire you?
Yes,
Nothing.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
It affects you. So you now come to town, you start to build these networks.
Yes.
Tell us about that process, because you know also you can be in town
Yes.
Yes.
and fail to get those networks. There are many people in town who are struggling in that
Yes.
space.
Very true.
You know, when I was in town, I met some of the friends who were doing that business.
Yeah.
And some of them, they were connected to government direct. I said that, how will I reach there?
Yes.
Some of them, they used to help, they used to give me their work. That help me with this and this,
Yes.
deliver these seedlings there, go and do this and this. So later on they say that, Kumbe, this man is somebody who is so honest. So let's give him what.
You can work with them.
Let's connect him also. And they connected me also.
To
That
become
you
a
can-
supplier.
Yes, to become a supplier.
You see?
So that is how,
You got into that.
yeah, that is how it helped him.
Now, you mentioned something, again, before I bring in Charles, which again Charles alluded to, the NGOs, you know, supply to NGOs as well. And Charles, like what he has started, it's not easy
Yes.
to supply the NGO world.
Yeah.
There's always that tedious process you have to go through.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with your kind of background, I mean, how, of course you had already got the idea from Enterprise Uganda to formalize, I guess, as well. So how did you go about that entire process and stick to it in order to qualify to supply agencies like NGOs, now government and that kind of thing? How did you?
You know, most of these contracts, they always are advertised.
Yeah.
And you have to pass through the process. So since I had a company, I also applied. I used the normal process that everybody can use. So that is how I manage. And you know, you see, sometimes if you're focused, as I told you, you cannot fail.
Yes.
Because I think it was also God's blessing. Because there are so many people who always bid. But you find that for you to succeed, yeah.
Yes.
But you know, I also get people who are experienced in bidding.
Okay.
You know, you cannot do it you alone. Sometimes you have to
Get
helped.
some,
Yes.
yes. And that's the networking
yes,
now. It
not
comes
really,
in.
yeah, that is how it helped you.
I hear you. Charles, what are your quick thoughts there?
Very good. First and foremost, it comes out clearly that the direction to achieve and grow rests with the person.
Yeah.
And the first element of that is somebody's focus and goal setting. The man is saying, I want to hit 10 million. It's not longer the LOC one telling him. It's no longer the uncle telling him. It is himself who's saying, last week I supplied, or this year I supplied 5 million, but I want to hit 10. That drive comes from inside. And we need, when we are trying to pull people out of poverty, to make sure that it's not about the cash they are putting into their hands that matters. They now must have the drive and the ability to fulfill that goal. Because after you've gotten that drive, the barriers for you to achieve your 10 million don't just disappear because you're interested. You now have to get the grounding principles. And one of the ways of doing that is seeing somebody who has done it, the right company. Then two, being humble enough to learn and consistently believe that you can also learn. So I think we get something very interesting about our person here today, because it's not just about having a person to move around with, because there are many young people who will say, I have company. But how is that company improving you? And are you also improving that company? Because when you listen to Simon Peter, he was a supplier to these fellows.
Yes.
So he was useful to them.
Yes.
Meaningful to them.
Yes.
And then they looked at him and said, but he's such a genuine person. Let's allow him also to learn how to do a direct bid. So a company should be such that you are both beneficial to each other. Not one person milking from the other person all the time. Like now we're talking about groups under the government program.
Yes.
Groups are just bodies of people. But what is this body bringing and what is the other body bringing? What is the other person bringing? You should all bring some addition to the bigger picture.
That's very beautiful, Charles.
Yeah.
Because you know, positioning is key. Sometimes you have those opportunities,
Yeah.
and then someone tells you, "Okay, can you come in?"
Yes,
And you have nowhere to start
correct.
because you didn't prepare well enough.
Then
Correct.
there are also criteria that they use for selecting companies.
Yeah.
Like I remember last year when I had applied for a contract of supplying pigs. They always
Supplying
put
pigs. Okay.
They always put some conditions. Like maybe you should be having maybe a BD security.
That's correct.
Maybe sometimes they look at your statement. Maybe they like that one. They are needed maybe when you have your statement. Maybe when it has reached 500 or 1 billion. So
in the bank.
yeah. So for me, any money that they used to pay me, it used to pass through account. So
Beautiful.
it had helped me, and not only me, even the company, to secure a contract, because they have to go through all the things.
And there's history and a trail.
Yes.
You brought a very important question, a rather point, because when you talk about a bank statement, you know, millions of entrepreneurs that are watching us, one of their biggest nightmares is how to be eligible
Yes.
for
Yes.
financing.
Yes.
Yes.
One from the banks and
Yes.
other sources as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, tell us, how has your experience been? What is your relationship, or what has been your relationship with the banks over the years, and how have you been building it?
Yeah, that's a very important question. I think I'm lucky. I don't know. But ever since I started picking a loan from, actually my bank is Centenary, though I have some accounts from other banks, but the major one is Centenary. I started borrowing a loan with the 1 million. I paid. And I always make sure that I pay before the deadline. So maybe if I'm given a grace period of 6 months, I pay maybe after 2 months, because I don't want to delay that money, because the more you keep that money, the more the bank makes what?
Man of you.
Yes. So for me, I'm very wise.
You've understood the
I'm
principle
so
of money.
skeptical. I pick your money.
Yes.
If we had agreed 6 months,
Yes.
I pay before, so that I will pay with the lowest amount. So when I borrowed a loan of 1 million, I didn't have even land or a land title or what. So I picked that money. Only what I used to do is to pay. I never wanted to spoil my reputation with the
Faithfully.
bank. So I used to pay. The next time I borrowed 5 million, I paid. The next time I borrowed 15 million, I paid. So now I had to build that confidence with the bank people. So whenever I could request the money, they would give me. Because you see, the more supplies you have, the more capital that you need.
Yes.
So that you'll manage to supply. So that is how I used to do, how I always do my things. I told them that I don't have a land title. They said, okay, well, where's your land? I said, the land is here. They helped me to process the land title, and I got the land title. So nowadays they can give me an amount of money.
I hear you.
Like they can give me up to the tune of 150 million. But for me, I borrow according to the what?
To your demand and market
Yes.
and needs.
At least they maybe I've never gone beyond 100, because I borrow some money, but there is also my percentage that I also have.
I get you.
Yeah, maybe the supply is of 1 billion. Maybe I could be having I can fund maybe 50%.
I hear
So
you.
I borrow the balance from there.
Wow.
Great,
The
great,
bank.
great. Now, before again I bring in Charles, let me just put this to you as well, because I know there are viewers who are watching us who, for instance, would be interested in going into the kind of business
Yes,
you're doing.
yes.
Seedlings,
Yes.
as one of your core businesses.
Yeah.
What does it take, for someone to make it in that particular space? Uganda is an agro-based economy.
Yeah.
We have farmers at different categories.
Yes.
We have the corporate farmers.
Yeah.
Some people prefer to call them weekend farmers.
Yes.
Then we have the farmer on the ground. And some might want to do it a bit different, because at the beginning of the show we mentioned that some people think you can't make money in farming, especially crop husbandry.
Yeah.
Just share with us, what does it take, one, to make it, and to make money in the kind of business that you're into? I know that now you've diversified. We'll
Yeah.
come to that as
Yes,
well.
Yes. Actually, it is not very hard if you're willing. Because there are people who just open because somebody is doing business, you also
they
go
copy.
and do it.
Yes.
They always fail. But if you're willing and you're ready to do it, you can make it. You see, when we were doing that business of Seedlings, there were so many people who were involved in that activity, but not all benefited. Some started, then they take
out.
off. Yes. So, but now, what matters a lot is for you to be focused on that business, because there is no way you can plant a tree there, then you don't water, and you expect to get what fruits out of it. No, it will never happen. Actually, business needs serious monitoring, supervision. Yes, that's when you can, because even these workers, even if you just start that business, then you employ somebody and you don't supervise, you don't monitor, you don't do what, that business will not.
Supervision is key.
Yes, it's okay. Yeah.
I get you. Then you mentioned the issue of water. How are you doing it? Have you done some irrigation or that kind of thing? Have you worked on that as well?
Yeah, that one, it is there. Because at the beginning we used to use watering cups. Actually, that business, I remember we saw some photos there. That is so small. If you had seen that business in the 2015, 14, but in 2015, 16, 17, when we had a high demand of seedlings, it was hectares. I had more than 6 acres of a nursery.
Just
Yes.
nursery.
So
I hear
you could not even water with using a watering can. You cannot manage.
I hear you.
So we had to get some irrigation equipment to help us to water, because that one you could maybe water for 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, because we had I had a number of them, like I had around 6 irrigation equipment, that generator and the system.
I hear you.
Yeah. So that is how we used to do it.
I like the model.
So that one now, you see that one, there are few, because we also do it
Based on the orders and the market available.
Yes, yeah.
I get you. Because then with their seedlings, you can't keep them for years.
Because that time, when I had more than 6 acres, I was operating it just near the lake, because I knew that it needs enough water. Enough water. Yeah.
Charles, I don't know what you think, but I see a man who has mastered his game. He knows what it needs and how to fit into that space.
Simon Peter drums something beautiful today about becoming bankable. Beautiful word.
Yeah.
How do you become bankable? The first thing the fellow does is he has got all his payments, his banking is going through the bank
System.
and to the bank. That is building the word he used later, trust. That seems this person is doing something. It seems he's doing something. Many times we just walk to the bank and just say, I'm a human being, I want to borrow a loan now. And the bank is saying the money I hold belongs to somebody. Can I trust you to bring it back? One of the ways of generating that trust is having that account. Now, when he started his account and he wanted to borrow, the bank looked at the size of that operation and said, you qualify for 1 million. What does he do? He says, the moment I generate my money, I pay you. Do not mechanically go by the fact that, you know what, you're supposed to return this money after 12 months. If the money is in your hands and you feel maybe the bank does not allow you to take it back earlier, put it somewhere in a fixed deposit. So that that money is not wasted. So the fellow borrows according to his abilities. But also having a bank account drives the savings culture. And you are not going to be wasteful with the money. And whenever he's borrowing, he does not just get excited, because when the banks began to trust the fellow, said, Simon Peter, surely, hey, you're again coming for 5 million, why don't we give you 30 million? He says, no, give me 20 million, that's what I want.
Yes.
Being clear with the amount you want and the purpose for which you are taking that money. A extremely important. Look at it again this way. A bank likes a land title. He sees a person who could get a land title. But probably he needs to be assisted to acquire the land first and then process the land title. So the bank said, I'm going to experiment on you. You want that land. There's no land title. We are going to give you the money for the buying of the land. Then we assist you for us to jointly produce a what? A land title. And the land title immediately goes in the names of the bank as a collateral. But after he has paid, it is his land. And that's where he has put part of his units. How many units have you now built? Housing in, what are those called?
The rental units.
The rental units. How many are they now?
Actually, I remember I told you, immediately after the training,
yes,
I was able to save money. Then I started building apartments. And by that time, I had started with a single room self-contained. I managed to build, that was 2013. 2014 I had completed.
Wow. How many had you completed?
Around 7 months. I had completed around 7.
7 units?
7 rooms.
7 rooms,
yes.
Self-contained?
Yeah. So then now, as the business expanded, then I built the other ones now, double room, self-contained.
Proper apartments.
Yes, at least in a year. 2016 I built one. 2017 I built one. Then in 2018 I built the last one. Because now what I also discovered, rentals was not so doing well, because sometimes people sleep, they don't pay. So that's why you see I stopped. I say that
it's holding your
let
money.
me just leave that one there. Yes, because also demanding is a problem. Sometimes somebody can't pay. There are people who even take 6 months. So I say that
so the apartments are how many in total?
They are around 14 plus this is
single. The single ones are 7, and then the others are 14. So it can bring you quite a challenge in terms of collections also. It's also a business by itself.
Beautiful.
So that's why you see I changed. I say that now this business, let me go and let me diversify. I start produce. I start planting, setting up my forest, because I've already started that one.
Yes.
So you've diversified into these other areas.
Yes.
I like the thinking, because as you rightly put it, if you don't have demand for the seedlings, you don't have to wait for when that demand will come.
That is true.
Yes.
So you diversify into forestry.
Yes.
You diversify into real estate.
Real estate,
and that kind of thing. And Charles, I want you to speak to that specifically, because you know, when you look at very formal organizations, like NSSF, like all these other companies, there's always that principle of diversifying your portfolio.
That is very true.
Or simply put, you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket.
That's correct.
And based on Simon Peter's experience, I think it is something probably some of our viewers also need to understand.
Very true.
I don't know what you can say about that.
The first thing is this. As you go into diversification, you should have made a name somewhere strong and clear. This fellow went into Seedlings and made a name to the point of becoming a supplier at national level. If you're able to supply nuts, you are national. So you made a mark there. And there are so many things you borrow from building a business line up to that scale that you can now take to another area. So the next thing now for you to diversify is to ask yourself, this line that I've built so well and I've reached national level, to what extent is there still headroom to continue benefiting from it, as compared to other options that might also have good returns? That's a key consideration. Once you now feel that there's a bit of money now being generated by this mature enterprise, begin to think of where can I diversify. And when you do that, limit the aspect of doing that diversification using debt finance. Burn your fingers, and I think most of the units that you built, a good number of them you built using your own profits.
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful. I want to bring in something. Viewers, you're going to be part of this discussion. Simon Peter and Charles are here to answer your questions, and if you have any comments and suggestions, you can also bring them in. We're going to flash our WhatsApp number on screen, where you can and that's the number you can forward your questions and comments. Now, Simon Peter, I want to bring in the community aspect. And if you look at one of the areas we're looking at is, in our theme is, you know, you're building a business, but not just for you, but a business that also touches the community. It is always very tough for a number of businessmen to manage their business and also the community dynamics. Because there's a lot that comes along that. Nugu, there are those, you know, now you, a village setting, you know, people who have grown up in a village setting also know you have to deal with relatives here, an uncle there. How have you managed that particular, you know, dynamic to sit where you sit today?
Actually, there are a number of things that I've tried to do. One is involving the community.
Okay.
You see, that business, by the time when it was booming, I could not manage to supply me alone, but I could do. Since I had, you know, I had a pretty gospel that you also open this business. Because I knew that at one time I will fail to what?
You'll get overwhelmed.
So I just say that you also produce. I'll be buying from you. That is how I've managed. Then number two, I've tried to employ a number of people. As I told you, there's a time when I had almost around 100 casual workers. Then I have also permanent workers. Those ones that I've employed. So that is how I've managed to be with them. Then sometimes, if you think you can please anybody, that one will never happen in life. So there are those ones who can accept to.
That's a good one.
Yes, there are those ones who can accept to work together with you. There are those ones who cannot. Because I believe one day when I was doing that work, there is an old man who came and asked me that, now you're planting those things to take where? You man, you better go back to school. I told him that no, you don't worry.
The naysayers.
Yes, time will come when I will what? There are some who can just come and they don't even encourage you. They say that, but where will you get market for all this? But for me, I just say that let me produce. I know where I will sell. I say that let me succeed with those ones who can
work with you.
Yes. So that is how I manage. There are also challenges. There are some people who think that, hey, this man is benefiting out of this. Let's destroy. As I told you, like there's a time when I lost fish. Somebody went and poisoned them. But never, I could not stop there. You know, I was self-motivated. I could not even listen to anybody. Like if you're not encouraging me, then I just say that, let me just leave this work. I could not.
You had to keep yourself.
Yes, yes. You know. Because I knew what I was doing. Yeah, some of them, they don't, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, I knew what I was doing, so I had to put much effort. And by the way, for me, I'm somebody that you cannot discourage. If you try to discourage me, you're wasting time. Because that's the time when I will put much more efforts. I remember, yes, actually, Charles said that statement one day that you silence them. So your achievements. So that's what I used to do.
That's a good one. But we're going for a break.
Yeah.
Before we go for the break, I want you to just mention a few of some of the businesses that you're into so that our viewers also get to appreciate that.
Yeah.
I know you've mentioned some.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about diversification.
Yes.
Such that when those questions come in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I'm doing a number of businesses now. But at the beginning, I was doing one business. But you know, it is hard to manage so many businesses. But it is again out of the challenges that you experience. Yeah. So at first, I was doing seedlings up to now. But now the demand is becoming low. As you know, the major buyers was government. So I'm doing that business of seedlings, and seedlings are many. We have mangoes, we have citrus, oranges. Then we have cashew nut. That we have that improved variety from Tanzania.
Of cashew nuts.
Yes, actually the government is trying to expand.
And promote it, eh?
Yes, and promote it. So I'm doing that one. Then also, as I told you, I've started forestry. So far I have 20 acres. Actually, that day we were not able to cover because of time, because I was on a hurry. You know, the financial year it was almost closing, so I was also in a hurry to prepare so that I get paid before. But there are some of the photos here. Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I can see them.
Yeah.
I don't have a way of beaming them, but we'll see how.
Yes. So those are some of the. So far, I have like 20 acres of this size, but my target is 100 acres.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also, yes, fish farming. You know, after they poisoned the other one, I shifted from that place, and that's where I bought some land around 30 acres in one place. So I'm just trying to, I'm just waiting to put the to install, because I've already finished to dig the production well.
So
Very deep, around 65 meters down. Yes, so there is enough water. The capacity is around, I can be able to get water around 6,700 liters per hour.
I hear you.
Yeah, so I intend to make, yeah. Then the other one also, piggery, that one is there. Yeah, they didn't cover that day because of time, but I'm doing that one also. So far I have like 400, but I've been supplying. You know, they produce, I sell off. I hear. So far this season, I think I've supplied around 1,000.
Wow.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Then I'm also doing I have